Welcome to the Great Loop aboard the Perch. I'm Kim Russo with America's Great Loop Cruisers Association, and this is leg 45 of our Great Loop adventure. We are on the Trent Severn. We are going today from Campbellford to Hastings. We will be going through 6 locks, and one is a flight lock, and if you've watched the previous leg, there was a flight lock there too, so we're doing another one of those today. So the locks open at 9, and we pulled out of Campbellford about 8:45. 3 looper boats had already left at this point, so we fully expected to be waiting for the second lock through of the day, which is perfectly fine. That's often just how it works out. These are smaller locks than the Army Corps of Engineers locks we see in the U.S., so sometimes you just wait for the next lock through. But the first lock is very close to Campbellford, so it was a short trip. You can see the other looper boats there on the blue line, which is the indicator that they're waiting to lock through. And then you can see some of them entering the lock. Like I said, we expected to wait for the second lockage of the day, but the lock operator and the 3 boats already there had discussed and arranged a way for all 4 of us to fit into the lock. And that was that the bigger boats, Sea Life is there, and the smallest boat, Tug Life, would pull in and raft up. And then the other 2 boats, which was us and Nautoncall, which were pretty close to the same size, would also pull in and raft up. So we did that. We were thankful that they found a way to get all 4 boats into the lock. And that was the way we proceeded throughout the day. I didn't really get video of the first pull in and raft up because it was a bit of a new process, but I will show you that as we continue on. But this is one of the beautiful gardens at the lock stations, and all of these lock stations have some really beautiful landscaping. And I am told that a lot of the lock operators actually compete to see who can have the best garden for the season. So here is the Lucky Lock 13 garden. This is Sea Life and Tug Life in front of us, rafted up at the lock wall. The way this works is that Sea Life, as the bigger boat, will grab the lines for the lock wall as usual, and then Tug Life will pull in and will tie off to Sea Life. So that's the procedure they use. It's the same procedure we did on right behind them, where us on the Perch were grabbing the lines on the lock wall, and then Nautoncall was tying off to us. And I've got some more pictures of the raft up process, but beautiful wildlife through this area, beautiful small cottages on some of the small islands. But soon enough, we were arriving at Lock 14 with some beautiful falls at their entry. And you can see the first 2 boats getting in there and getting ready to raft up. The other a little bit different thing about this particular section is that there were a few places where we had to switch which side we could tie on. So for most of the locks we've been going through, you would tie to the starboard side. But for locks 13 and 15, you would tie to the port side. So that was lock 14. You can see us pulling into the starboard side again. You can also see that Tug Life is rafted up to Sea Life. Lock 14 had this rowboat that said "Done Rowin'" for part of their garden, and this is a pretty decent shot of everybody rafted up. You can kind of see the line running from Nautoncall over to the Perch, and we are hooked around the lines. Our lines are around the cables on the wall there, so that's kind of the rafting up process. And soon enough, everybody was unrafted and let go of the cables, and we were headed out again for the next section of the Trent Severn. It was really just smooth cruising, having these 4 boats together that just kind of fit perfectly into the locks. Of course, since Nautoncall, who you see in that picture, was rafted to us, they would have to leave the lock first, and then we would need to pass them, which is what you saw in that picture there. And that's a great shot of the blue line where you wait if the lock is not ready for you. This particular lock, we are on our way in and ready to do another raft up. And soon enough, we arrived at the step lock. This is where you're going through 2 locks that are just in immediate succession to each other. You do not raft up here. They allowed us to tie to both sides. So the 4 boats, same 4 boats are in the lock, each tied to a separate side of the wall. I wanted to show you this video with the sound because the doors make this incredible sound. It sounds like you've just been enclosed into Jurassic Park or into a jail cell. little bit intimidating with the sound there, and as the water starts to fill, as those doors are closed, you can kind of see them bubbling up. But with the step lock, you go through one, the doors open, and you're immediately going into the next chamber. So that is us leaving what is lock 17. 16 and 17 combined are that step or flight lock of 2. So once you're finished with the 2 of those, you are out cruising towards lock 18. And the first 5 locks, 13 through 17, were in pretty close succession, but then we had a good distance to go before lock 18. And it was beautiful sunny day, as you can see, winding our way through the waterway of the Trent Severn. So once you have the group of boats, once you lock through the first lock for the day, you're pretty much going to be with those boats for the rest of the day. The lockmasters call ahead and let the next lock know that you're coming. And typically, in most cases, that next lock is just waiting for you with the doors open, so the blue line does not even come to play. This is a photo Tug Life took of us as we were in lock 18, and that is me chatting with Jeremy. Jeremy is one of the lockmasters here, and he and another lockmaster named Pat made this gorgeous paddle back in 2019 and had all the loopers coming through sign it, and then they put the final coat of varnish on it. So I was thrilled to finally arrive there. Of course, COVID was between 2019 and now, and the paddle just got to me back in the spring, and I was thrilled to be carrying it with me and to get some pictures with Jeremy. And unfortunately, Pat was not there that day, but such a lovely gesture and reflective of the cooperative spirit between the Trent Severn Waterway and AGLCA. So it was a thrill for me to finally meet Jeremy, and thanks to him and thanks to Pat for the beautiful paddle. And they had requested some AGLCA swag to decorate their lock station a few years ago, so that's what you see there inside the lock station. And after lock 18, we basically just pulled over to the wall there in Hastings and tied up for the night. It was a beautiful night, as you can see there, kind of at twilight, and we would be ready for the next day to start our trip towards Peterborough. Thanks for watching. We'll be back soon.